Hi everyone. In this lecture, I would like to explain thread concept in Java programming language. Next, designing threads. See, before that, let me discuss one thing. We have a predefined thread class, a predefined thread class that is available in java.lang package. So, java.lang package. In java.lang package, there is a predefined thread. Java.lang package has a predefined thread called thread class. Okay, but you can define your own thread, but in two ways. You can define your own thread in two ways. One way is by extending thread class. Another way is by implementing runnable interface. By extending a thread class, that is one way. By implementing runnable interface, that is another way. Okay, we'll see the first one, extending thread class. Okay, so this is the program. Before looking at the program, so let me define some important points. Let me explain some important points. First, so how can you define a user-defined thread using thread class? So first, declare a user-defined class. So in this example, I have declared one user-defined class called multi-threading demo. User-defined class, and extend. Next step is extend thread class to user-defined class. So that means write the phrase extends thread. That means thread is the super class and multi-threading demo, that is the user-defined class, is a child class. Okay. So that is the first step. Next, second step. So in this user-defined thread, you need to override run method. Run method is already available in thread class, which is a predefined class. Since we are extending or we are defining a user-defined thread, multi-threading demo. Okay. So in this, you need to override the run method. Run method is already available in thread class, but we need to override it. So that is the second rule. So override thread class run method in user defined thread class. Okay. So in which okay, let me explain the program later. I'll execute the program. I'll practically show how a thread runs. Okay. Next, third step is in main class, that is in main method, create object for user defined class. So what is the user defined class? User defined thread class, multi-threading demo. Okay. So for this is the main class in which main method is defined. Okay. In which I'm going to create object. So what is the object? The name of the object is obj ect object. So create an object for user defined thread class. So this is thread class and this is thread object. Thread object is nothing but thread. Okay. So once you create a thread, that means we are not starting the thread. Okay. So how can you start a thread? How can you make a thread executes on its own? By calling start method. So how to call this start method? You can call start method using the object, thread object itself. So you have created this object recently. Okay. So we'll see this practically. So let me explain the program. See the program. So I have shown in the previous example. So this is user-defined thread class, and it is going to extend predefined thread class in which a run method is overridden. So in run method, I'm going to use a try catch block because there might be a chance of raising an exception. Okay. So in try block, I'm going to execute this phrase. So what is the meaning of this? See, in thread class, there is a static method called current thread. So current thread of thread class. Since current thread method is a static method, so this method can be accessed by thread class like this, directly using class name. Since current thread method is a static method, you can access this method directly by using thread class. Okay, so this method, current thread method, returns presently running thread. Okay, current thread method returns presently running thread. Okay, so we know that thread is nothing but an object. Thread is also an object. In Java, everything is considered as an object. So thread is also an object. Thread class is different. Thread class is different. So thread object is also known as thread. Directly you can say thread. So this particular part of the program returns presently running thread. That is nothing but an object. So using that object, you are calling getName method. GetName method returns the name of the thread. Okay, before that, let me discuss three things. Each thread, so whatever we have written in any program, I'm talking about the thread. So each thread has three aspects. One is thread ID, second one thread name, third one thread priority. So each thread has its own priority. We discuss about priority values later. Okay, so this getName method returns what? GetName method returns the name of the thread. Okay, and if there is any exception raised in try block, that is caught by catch block. Okay, this is unnecessary because you have you know already about try catch blocks, exception handling. So I'm skipping that. And this is the main class, that is multi-thread class, in which main method is written. So in main method, I'm going to execute a loop for how many times? So n is equal to 8. N is equal to 8 in the sense. So I is equal to 0 to I less than 8. I less than 8 in the sense I less than or equal to 8. 7. I less than or equal to 7. That means 0 to 7, 8 times. So this loop executes for 8 times. That means I'm going to create object. That means thread object or thread. So I'm going to create thread in each loop. Totally how many times the loop executes? 8 times. So in each time the loop executes, one thread object or thread is created. Okay. So immediately after creating a thread, the thread is being started. So how can you start a thread? By calling start method. Okay. So when you execute the program, see this. So I'm executing or I'm creating an object, thread object or thread for 8 times total 8 times. That means so in this case 8 threads are created and 8 threads are running simultaneously. Okay, totally 8 threads, and we don't expect the order. Okay, first which thread is running? Thread 5. Second one thread 0, thread 1. Depending on the priority, those threads will run. Okay, so we don't expect any order. Okay, this is regarding creation of a thread using first method. So what is the first method? Method in the sense first way. So extending thread class. By extending thread class. The second one is implementing runnable interface. By implementing runnable interface. This is the second way of creating user defined thread. Okay. So previous program, you can write the previous program, but with the small changes. Okay, let me explain the changes. Okay, first of all, let me create a user defined thread multi-threading demo. So which is going to implement runnable interface in which run method is defined, just like in previous example. Run method is defined. Same code has been written here. Same code, same try catch. Okay, but in main method there is some difference. See, in previous case, you need to create object for user defined thread directly, but whenever you implement runnable interface, whenever you write a user defined thread by implementing runnable interface, you need to go for creating object for thread class. So create object for thread class, and for this thread class object, you need to pass as an argument. So what is the argument? Object of user defined thread class, that is multi-threading demo. So this is the object of user defined class. So this object should be passed as an argument to thread class object. So thread class object. Okay. So how can you start the thread? By calling start method as usual. So let me explain the second program. Okay. So implementing runnable interface, you are creating a user defined thread. Okay, try block, catch block as usual. So no need to explain. So next, in main method I am creating thread class object reference, and for the thread class object I am passing user defined thread class object directly as an argument, and now I am calling start method like this. Okay, let me run this program. Okay, same output we are getting, but the order is different. I told you already, we need not expect the order of the threads. So thread 4 is the thread name, thread 7 is the thread name, thread 6 is the thread name, like this. So in different order, in different orders, so the threads are running. Okay,